Well, it all starts in the depths of YouTube, where you can find one of the earliest recordings ever made in the history of music. A recording of Alessandro Moreschi, the last ever castrato. He was called the Angel of Rome. The gramophone company from London, they came to Italy to record Caruso, who was becoming this world star. And I think they were still negotiating Caruso's fee. And at the same time, the representative of the gramophone company, Fred Gaisberg, this American engineer, decided to infiltrate the Vatican, and he thought it would be a good idea to record this castrato. What is interesting about these recordings is the sense of mystery. It gives a snapshot into the world of the castrato, the voice, and this musical tradition. That got me thinking about a possible opera based on this man's life. I researched a bit into his life, and quite recently it was discovered that this man had got married in the 1890s. The marriage did not go well, and she left him eventually for another man, bore a child called Giulio, who eventually Moreschi took on as his adopted son, Giulio Moreschi, who we can see in Fellini's first ever feature film. He was the father-in-law of Fellini's brother. So I thought, well, gosh, this man's private life, if he got married and he had an adopted child, and yet he was also the star singer of the Vatican, this must have been a very courageous and scandalous thing to do.
The libretto by Max Hoehn is written in a very sophisticated way where he connects scenes from the past of Alessandro and from his childhood. They form a kind of kaleidoscope through which we experience his life. He got married, he was very famous, he practiced his art and he was proud of his art, but still he was a very lonely man in a way too. The story takes place about 100 years ago, but I do think, or I at least could very much relate to it, which made it very easy for me to hear music just by reading the libretto over and over again. Somehow it came to me the idea of using a theremin. I was thinking about another color which in the instrumentation which would give us not in any way an imitation of the castrato voice, but which would add something special.
This libretto, yes, it deals with these ideas of a social outsider, a man whose just very identity is in contrast with the social and gender boundaries of his time. He clearly accepted his identity as a castrato, and he wanted to make art. He wanted to be considered an artist. So in a sense, it's a story of a man who, despite this trauma, he created this new identity for himself and tried to become accepted.